Good afternoon. It is June 1st and it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It is probably 60 degrees outside today. Sky's a little blue. Haven't had rain in a few days. That's nice. But it did get a little warm this afternoon and almost hit 65. So, I guess it's probably better than some places. At any rate, I'm going to put a bunch of clips together on this video to show kind of the start and finish of the pole barn assembly and the removal of the old one. And anyway, hope it's interesting. I did learn some lessons off some recent videos, and I got to figure out my color format on one of the cameras and how to make that better. So hopefully I'll get that fixed soon. Anyway, have a great day. This is what the river looks like early in the springtime. The glaciers haven't started melting, so the river height is pretty low. Definitely can't navigate it yet, but once the river water gets a little higher, you got to know where these channels are. And anyway, it's interesting, but huge log jam over there. What'll happen is just the wood just starts floating down the river. The river just takes the banks. I mean, the bank right here in front of me is breaking off, and it takes a little bit more every year, and it just carries the trees downstream, and you end up with a big pileup. Anyway, got some people starting fly fish over there right now. There'll be a lot of people fly fishing this river as well as a lot of others in the spring. The rainbow trout are a big hit up here. Lots of people do rainbow trout fishing. Anyway, that's it for there. Good afternoon, folks. Today is May 19th. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon in south central Alaska. It's about 50 degrees out today, pretty overcast. I think 50 or 52 is our high today, so nice weather, in my opinion. Sure beats the heat. So bring you up to speed on some of the projects we've been working on around here. I think on the last video I put together, I mentioned we had a buyer for the Connex. That buyer fell through, but another one's supposed to pick it up tonight. So got it all cleaned out and ready to go. Of course, we have a mess over here now as we wait to get started building our garage. The plan is to get rid of the Connex, get rid of the pole barn, and put a garage right there in that area. So until then, I don't have anywhere to put a variety of things. So it's kind of a mess for now. But anyway, step one in this process is to build a new pole barn. So kind of been working on that with a buddy of mine. Last night we got some trusses put together, got them sitting on the trailer here. So we'll get this probably erected hopefully in the next week or so. It's going to be going over here. We tried to clear the soil the other day, but we hit frozen soil. You know, not living up here all my life, that's not something that's a familiarity to me, but we could only get about a foot off of the surface in this area and hit frozen soil. So anyway, waiting on the soil to dry out and to unfreeze a little bit, and hopefully that'll be another week or so. Once we got that top layer off, supposedly it'll start to melt pretty quick, so that'll be good. But at any rate, the new pole barn will go right in this area here. So that's it for now on that. So we had a bunch of railroad ties around here that they were here when we bought the place a few years ago, and we decided we no longer wanted them. Again, a lesson that I've learned You can't just pick them up. I've literally tried to pry this one off the ground. Can't do it. It's still frozen to the ground. There's one over here. As you can see, by the breaking of the 2x4s, it too is still frozen to the ground. So, obviously not something I'm familiar with. Those are lessons learned, lessons that I have not yet encountered. So, just a different terrain, a different environment, and all kind of nuances that I am not familiar with. So, life is a learning lesson, and I enjoy the lessons I'm getting taught up here. So, let's see. Strawberries are still coming up here. They're still kind of small, but I think Rhonda just fertilized them. Got a couple of weeds in there, but they're coming up. The garlic is coming up too. It's about 5 or 6 inches tall. So let's take a peek at the garlic. Nice little rows of garlic. And again, we planted these in the fall last year. So I think we planted them in, I don't know, late September, something like that. But they're 3 to 6 inches maybe, so that's good. They should do well. Got the boat back. It had been stored at a friend's house undercover for the winter, but anyway, got the boat back. And you know, again, another lesson. The driveways up here in the spring, they get kind of mucky because of the snow melt creates slushy soil, water all over. It sits on the surface because the ground's frozen. So got to wait on that to kind of break apart and the water to depreciate and go somewhere before you can drive all over somebody's yard to get your boat. So that's that. Of course, it didn't hurt to remain covered because we didn't have anywhere to put it. Now we still don't because we're tearing down the pole barn. So anyway, so I guess we'll figure it out. I've got a cover for it, so we'll probably get the cover on it here before too long, just to at least keep water from getting in it when it rains. But anyway, very brief update today, but wanted to at least put something out. Hopefully y'all are doing well wherever you're at, and have a great day. Well, we are half done putting up the support posts for the pole barn to be moved over here. We got these here on the left in yesterday, and we're going to try and get these in today. It is, I don't know, about 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, May 21st. And we already got this dug down yesterday. Had to go pretty deep on this front end. There was some debris down there we had to get rid of. Anyway, you have to dig down to the rock layer. The first 2 to 3 feet is a mud layer, and if you build on top of that, it ultimately will shift around and move. So anyway, had to get that going and then kind of backfill with some good soil that has rock in it, and then kind of put some around these posts to keep them, give them more support as we go. So anyway, we'll be moving forward on this today, and I'll show you later what the additional progress looks like. Good morning, folks. It is Sunday, May 24th, I think it is, about 9:15 in the morning. Get ready to do some more projects around here. Seems like the projects don't stop. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how the trees are finally starting to get a couple of leaves on them. This has only happened in the last 3 or 4 days, so it's kind of crazy how maybe you can see them, maybe you can't, but anyway, starting to get a little green up top. And anyway, it's funny how it's so long to take to get here from being down there in the lower 48. We were able to get my buddy over here with his tractor. We're getting the last few of these railroad ties pulled out of here. Got a guy coming to pick them up on Tuesday. He's going to use them for his garden area. So glad to get those going. We'll get this, get some extra dirt in here and kind of get this looking a little bit better here. At some point. That project is not at the top of the list. We have been making significant progress over the last couple of days on this new pole barn. It's a little higher than I anticipated it would be. I started out with 16-foot timbers, and down when you start excavating, you never know how deep the good soil line is going to be, so you got to remove the poor soil. And anyway, we're only about 4 feet down, so by the time you put the roof on top, I think we're going to be pretty high. But I guess the good thing is, looking long term, if I ever got a camper, that would be an adequate space to put a camper. So, you know, there's always benefit in it. I didn't see the reason to cut 2 or 3 feet off the top of those 16-footers. That seems to be a waste. And the rain doesn't come down too hard around here, not really sideways, so that's a good thing. It'll at least keep what is underneath it dry, which will primarily be the boat and the side-by-side. A lot of extra work to do after that with, you know, just kind of getting the grade back to normal. Got the Connex moved probably 4 or 5 days ago, and we had some dirt in here, but as you can see, it's an absolute mess at this point. Again, you really would have to be here to understand how the soil conditions are. My buddy drove his tractor through here and it literally just wants to sink. So anyway, it's that's why you got to remove that top layer of soil, because it really is nothing but junk. Anyway, we'll be taking that tin off the roof in the next day or two to get on the top. It may happen today, who knows. But that tin's going on the new pole barn. So excuse me. Anyway, brief update. Buddy's tractor there. Without that and without his man lift, I'd probably still be digging holes. Anyway, that man lift has really been a blessing. Without that, it really been a huge challenge. I don't want to be the guy at this age to tote the 4x6s up that high on a 6-foot ladder and hope for the best. It doesn't sound good. Anyway, as things progress around here, we'll be checking back in. Good afternoon, folks. It is about 4 o'clock Wednesday. I think it's the 27th of May, and it's about 55 degrees in the Mat-Su Valley area of beautiful Alaska. Anyway, got a few things. Going to show you some updates today. First, let me start off showing you my raspberries. It's going to be a bit until they really start peeking out, but you can already see they're barely starting to peek out, and that's actually happened within about the last 3 or 4 days. But all these kind of brown looking sticks that are 7, 8 feet long, 6 feet, those are all going to be raspberries, and this is quite a patch. In about, I don't know, July sometime, the end of July, we'll end up getting probably a gallon off of these little ones. So that's pretty fun. We enjoy them. A couple things in the greenhouse. Might as well show you what we got here. The greenhouse really does keep things much better than staying outside, because it's still going to be in the low 40s overnight. But I think these snow peas they're probably about 3 weeks old since we planted them. So they're coming up. In here we've got a couple of squash and zucchini coming up. They've only been in the ground about a week. I think these little tomatoes, they've maybe been 2 weeks out of the soil, so they're coming right along. And we've got some other tomatoes up here. These we did buy and transplanted, but that one in the back has probably tripled in size since we've had it, and ultimately it's going to have a lot of tomatoes on it, as you can see, sometime soon. So excited about that. And I did buy a couple of blueberries, because even though you can pick a lot of blueberries up here, I just want a couple of plants for the yard. And we've had blueberries in the past. They grow pretty quick. So I'll get these in the ground when it gets a little hotter, just to be safe. So that's that on the gardening for now. I'm going to show you our what looks to be a humongous pole barn. We've been planning this for a few weeks, and we got to tear our old pole barn down. So what we did is we put this one up. It's taller. It seems tall, but ultimately we're going to backfill at the base about 1.5 feet. So we'll probably end up with about 15 feet to the peak, maybe 16, and have plenty of storage. It's ultimately 25 feet long. We can get our boat in there. If I feel like I need to put something on the sides up top just to keep from, wind and leaves and whatnot getting in there, I might do that later. But what a blessing to have a friend who has that man lift, because if not for that man lift and of course his tractor, it would have been a much more difficult task. So thankful to have that. Glad to have this up. The only thing I got to do is put the ridge cap on, and Larry's and my buddy, he's not available today, so we're not going to finish it today. So what I'm going to concentrate on is the old shed, or pole barn as it were, that is nothing but a frame at this point. I scavenged the tin off of there to reuse it, at, I don't know, $5 a foot for 3-foot metal up here, and that's probably a good deal. It'll be expensive to not reuse the existing tin. So again, we pulled the tin off of this building, or this pole barn, and we already put it on the other one. So save me some money, and I got a few caulk holes up there, but nothing big. And as you can see too, we got rid of the Connex. Connex was here. Thankfully it's gone. We found a buyer up here that was interested right down the road. So glad to have that gone. This whole area is going to ultimately be demoed because of the garage going in. So we're doing some planning right now for that, and trying to get some things in order. So anyway, just another little clip to add to our overall video this week. So hope you're doing well. Well, that's the complete product right there. The only thing I do need to do is those two ends right there and right there. I'll probably put some darker stain on it just to give it a different look. We were able to use that wood up there, kind of the gable end off of the old pole barn. It lined up well, just the right size. Everything worked out, so nice to at least reuse that. Between that and the tin, certainly saved some money. So happy about that. Over this direction, the old pole barn used to be right there, and the Connex used to be right there. There's a tree stump in the middle. We took that tree out about 3 weeks ago, and based on the configuration of the new garage, you can see one stake over here and a couple more. There's one there, and there's one way back there. Anyway, this spruce tree right here is probably going to have to come out. Excuse me, birch tree, and there's a spruce there. So a few of these are probably going to come out in order to make way for the garage. Anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this. Stay tuned.